Hello and welcome to the Dash Arts podcast. I'm Rachael Head and I am joined today by our incredible Dash Arts producer who's normally far too busy to speak to us, Cristina. Hey, Cristina.
Hello. What a nice introduction that I'm not deserving of.
Well, I kind of, railroaded you into being here today because I feel like I'm not the expert on why we did so many of the things we did for Dido's Bar, but you are.
I'll go with it. Yep, I'll go along.
Dido's Bar's finished for now, which seems a little bit mad given how much time we all, but especially you and Josephine, have given to it. And Dido's Bar is this incredible show, and we've talked about so much, but there was also so much more to it, and the idea that we wanted to do community reach during the project. So in this episode, we're going to look at some of the time we worked with the young people at Community Links and some of the work that they're doing. I'd love for you to tell me a little bit about who they are and how you came into contact with them.
Yeah, thank you. So to frame it, sort of going back a step, when we were looking at how the show itself would sit within this new community for us in Newham, we wanted really to embed it within the community. And for that, we had various different activity. And for example, one of it was creating this little traveling bar, which one of our collaborators, Manuel, who's a brilliant performer, but also a maker, designed and built with the help of our two amazing interns, Scott and Callum. And it was fantastic. It was one of those like doll's houses that you just sort of put together. He designed it really cleverly, and you could like put it up and take it down within 15 minutes. And it went to Kids Summer Splash and to Britannia Village Day. What was wonderful is that people traded stories for cherry juice and pomegranate juice, which are part of the play. So that was really lovely. We had so many interesting conversations. We were able to tell them about the show, but also we were able to collect recipes that reminded them of home and little stories that reminded them of home. And we built this amazing map that was across the whole world, and people put a pin in where they or their families were from. And it honestly was just full of pins all over the place. And it was so fantastic. And a reminder that Newham is a real hub of people from all over the place, a real melting pot. The other thing we did is we curated a series of interval acts. So every show of Dido's Bar had in the interval a local musician or duo playing, and the styles of music were sort of sympathetic to the style of the show, but also, slight departures. And it was a fantastic showcase of local talent. It blew us all away. We had obviously our actors who were pretending to be musicians in a bar. Of course, they were all very gifted actor musicians. And then what was lovely was to sort of pass through this interval with a musician who does do that for, day in, day out. And we uncovered some fantastic talent. I'm sure you can find the little clips on our social media. And then another activity was this workshop with Community Links, because Amanda, who's a youth support and development officer there, and actually a musician herself, came to one of our meet and greets early on, and we were brainstorming, thinking, what can we do? Community Links is this fantastic hub of training and education support for local communities and beyond in East London. And she in particular works with groups of young people who, some of them are doing, I think, a degree, in media and music, and she's their sort of support worker. And they have this fantastic facility, which because you were there with me, which was previously a morgue, redesigned by a Finnish, funnily enough, Finnish. We had so many Finnish collaborators in the show, redesigned by a Finnish architect as this state-of-the-art media studio with a music studio and equipment, with state-of-the-art computers, a computer room, so people could make music, edit it, and then also a podcast room. Again, people could edit podcasts. There were probably in the room, it was quite a small room, but really well equipped, and we all bundled ourselves in. It was fantastic. The energy was fantastic, and went around, and all the young adults told us a little bit about themselves and their names. And again, they came from different backgrounds, and some of them from different countries, and had really varied interests and skills, from making music, making art, filmmaking.
They were incredible musicians. They
Yeah.
you know, they were like between 15 and 19.
To like 20, 21, yeah.
And they were talking about playing, you know, in playing bass in this band, and had this gig the other day, and I was like, I was not that cool when I was 15.
I know, very talented. It was amazing that obviously through community links, they're able to develop those talents and build careers from it, you know, and train from them. So that's really important when you want to be an artist and you don't quite know how. I mean, this was like a perfect environment for it, and they have amazing support and equipment. So then we decided we would create a couple of workshops, creating a podcast episode together with their contributions and talking a little bit about process for making a podcast. And the first one we did together, didn't we? And my idea was to read a scene from Dido's Bar, the play. We'll have the young people read it out loud and then discuss what came up for them from that scene, what were the themes that were emerging, and then how they themselves responded to those themes. So I think in one of the scenes between Dido and Aeneas, I think themes of love, themes of journeying, of home. And that brought up a lot of responses, and they were talking about it and reflecting on it. And then, of course, they went into the podcast room with you, and then you recorded those reflections.
Yeah, this episode is going to be made up of snippets of our conversations about Dido's Bath. So from including a little bit of where they read those scripts and using them as a jumping off point, to discussions on themes of love and family, refugees, loss. It was a real pleasure to hear what they had to say about it. And the recordings are all everyone's talking and everyone's got ideas, and you can really tell the difference when we're recording in that room, just getting everybody's initial thoughts, to when we went into the studio, because I've included a mixture of both. And then we should say, before I launch into the interviews, the artwork for the episode and the music that runs in between the snippets was created by two of the young people as well. Yes,
I think the young artist whose artwork people will be able to see when listening to the episode, I think she'd had an exhibition at Theatre Royal Stratford East, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. It was part of a particular exhibition, and people could go and see her work.
And just before I launch into these, I just want to say a huge thank you to Amanda Brown, the Youth Support and Development Officer that we were working with. And we want to say a huge thank you to the Royal Docs team for their support of the community programme. And also acknowledge our wonderful writer, Hattie Naylor, whose script you can hear snippets of being read out by the young people. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are sisters.
Sisters.
So she goes home.
Runs home.
Broken.
Dido in tears.
Alone. This fugitive. Vagrant.
Queen.
There's your letter.
There's been letters before.
But this one. Oh, we didn't say. She's illegal, of course. But then, union.
We get them cheap that way.
It's how we do business, you see. And they work so much harder.
In perpetually purder.
You get a good job done.
When there's nowhere to run.
So she goes home, broken.
Dido in tears.
Alone. It's fugitive, vagrant.
Queen.
And this one comes with a knock at the door.
And the tiny heart, so shattered already,
rises as they pile in.
Splintering, shattering, the door bashed down.
Oh, Dido's arrested.
This world-weary queen. They snatch her away, and by the next day, she's returned to a land that will hunt her down and be her end. Dido.
Like many.
We
are sisters.
Sisters.
You are like me.
I am like you. Dido.
Great. Okay, cool. Well done, guys. Really good reading. Yeah. People listening, what did you get from that? What did you get from it?
They're sisters.
They're sisters. What's wrong with Dido's status? She got reported to the police. Did anyone understand why?
No.
But it seems that someone's reported Dido, even though she's a musician in their own bar, right? She makes them money because she sings. She's a good singer. But someone, for whatever reason, has reported her to the police, and now she's being deported. So in terms of themes in that scene, what would you say is like a theme of that little scene?
If I said to you, it's about
competition, would you say yes or no?
One will try to up you.
That's really good. You can pick that up in the way they talk to each other, the way they sort of try and like outdo each other. Yeah, that's great. If I said to you it's about refugees, would you say yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know anyone in your life who you have a bit of a love-hate relationship with, that you feel like you like them, you like hanging out with them, they may be quite similar to you, or they're into similar things, but there's certain things that you just, and you feel a bit in competition with each other, you want to outdo each other, you want to like, if that person does one thing, you want to do it just as well, or you want to do it as well.
If none of you men say family, I swear down.
Yeah, family, especially my sister.
Any family members you have,
Competition.
the way me and my brothers, my sister, probably my whole entire family, we just compete with each other.
And is that a good thing? Or like, what's the result of you competing with each other?
I mean, it's a bit of both, you know what I'm saying? Because people, if they compete with you, if they compete with you, they might want to compete to get the best out of you.
So it can make you feel equally unconfident, but it can also push you to do better, to try your hardest.
Mhm.
So it's that push and pull, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
What were you going to say?
I was going to add that it brings you closer, because I've noticed when me and my sister compete, we've got like this unbreakable bonds that it's hard for anyone to like get in between. So I feel like competition in family can be a positive thing as well as a negative thing, but it depends on the two people competing. So for like me and my sister, she does artwork, I produce music. So when she's got like big events going on, I'm thinking in my head, how can I make myself have a big event? How can I be in spotlight as well? So yeah, and I just learn a lot from my sister because of her confidence. So I'm just like, I want to be as confident as her, and she brings it out in me as well. So I think it's a good thing.
That's really valuable and true. What are you feeling about that?
I'm not confident at all.
So maybe confidence is less about how you're feeling and more about how people see you.
Mm.
Has anyone had an experience of migrating going from one place to another, being new and being perceived a certain way? Yes.
In primary school, I used to go to Ravenscroft just down the street, and I was in year 6, my first year in, and I remember there was this one kid called Marshall. He would be like, you know how every school literally has their own class clowns and everything, and
Yeah.
he would end up literally annoying every teacher, like all the time. Even if he came outside of the thingy isolation or whatever, he would end up still annoying the hell out of everyone in school, but like by trying to be a school clown, like a class clown. But I remember we was talking about where I'm from, and you know how back then there was like some people that would maybe discriminate Romanians or Russians or whatever. I ended up getting like false assumptions made about me, and as you said, being told to go home.
Where are you from then?
I'm half Russian, half Romanian.
Do you speak Romanian?
Yeah.
Gio?
Oh, anyone?
I'm Romanian as well.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
The excitement in your voice. Okay, how did you overcome the way you were perceived?
Just stop listening to them and just don't give them the attention they want. The only reasons they either come up to you and discriminate you, it's either that they are lonely and they don't know how they're supposed to treat people, or they're just like technically just taking the nick out of you
Switch up the lights.
for their satisfaction.
Yeah, it can be quite a disorientating experience to come to a new place and experience how people perceive you. And it's not just true for migrants like us, but also for like just moving schools, moving areas, like coming into a new group. Like I'm sure you all have those experiences.
So we've been reading some of the Dido's Bar scenes. We've been talking about the themes of jealousy and conflict and family and the idea of starting again. And you had some really interesting insights, Shannon.
So family, there's always a positive and a negative in. Like you have one person that will be jealous of you or jealous of someone else in the family. Like for me, it's always been my father. He's always been jealous of me and my sister because we don't listen to what he says. Any negative things or comments he makes, we don't listen. We just continue doing everything that we want to do. So that's positive, and he doesn't like it. And I feel like jealousy can ruin like relationships and friendships, especially because of the way in society we live in today. We heavily rely on social media. So every time we have a feeling or we feel like something's up with our bodies or we just generally feel sick, we go on social media, and then it starts to make you panic. But that's what society wants you to do. It wants you to compare yourself to other people. So, and I just wanted to add as well, like, reading about Dido's bar, from what I can get, is like, there's a lot of having to be compared to someone and feeling different. And social media does that to a lot of people. Like, it doesn't really matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your country, your background, your religion, your sexuality, your pronouns. It shouldn't matter because as we all know, we are all people. We're all human, breathe the same air, have the same blood. So why does it matter where you come from? Why does it even matter like what language you speak?
Yeah.
I think we should all stop being ignorant and just like sit down and ask people like what languages do they speak? Like what type of food do you have? What's your traditional music or food or meal? That way we begin to learn more about others instead of being ignorant and saying, "Oh, just go back home, like this is not your country," which I feel that is highly disrespectful because I used to live in South East London. I had to move to East London and I felt alienated because I was like, this is not the area I grew up in. I don't know anything about it. I don't know where certain things are. And then I started to put in my mind, like, this is probably what people feel like when they have to move from their country because their country's at war, or they come here for a better career, or any of those solutions that you can think of. It's just like I started to feel like I was in their shoes. Yeah, we're all speaking English and everything, but it's like I'm in a different area. Like people are gonna look at me and judge me like, oh, this is a new person in our area. Like, what's she doing in our area? And it's like that when we have people coming from different countries, and we're so quick to say like, oh, what they're doing in our country, like who are they that they shouldn't be here.
Dido's bar is so much about like trying to find that safe space and trying to find that sense of community. Like, do you sort of feel like that's what you've got here with this place?
Yeah, with Community Links, I feel like I have a safe space because every young person because I volunteer here, every young person that I've met so far, I always make sure that I have like this bond with them individually where I get to know them. Because generally, I'm a curious person. I love to learn about other people. And Community Links is like a family home to me because I know that there's always support with people here. And just being in a place where I know that young people are on the streets and they're not involved in the cruel world of violence. They're actually coming here, they're doing something productive. And I know like staying at home can be the best, but sometimes you need to get out.
Yeah, meet people.
Yeah.
Actually have people to talk to. So we've got a different script this week. So last week we were looking at like the ideas of like family and competition and rivalry and sort of leaving this new script is between Dido and Aeneas. So in Dido's bar.
Alright, Gabriel, I'm gonna be Dido.
Aeneas a boy or girl?
Aeneas is a man and Dido is a woman.
Okay, Gabriel, you're gonna be Dido, I'm gonna be Aeneas.
You know, like
I want to do this like honestly.
you can just
It's giving.
you can just do your normal accent if you want to. Not that we're not loving that journey for you. Alright, go for it.
You've just arrived?
Ah, yes. It is so wonderful to be here. I haven't snug for so long. It is wonderful. Yes.
And you have a place to stay, to eat?
Not exactly.
Ah, that's always very hard when you arrive. I should go.
I've been here just a day. Well, this is my second day.
Dido hesitates.
You don't have family here.
No.
So you need a place to stay?
Aeneas nods, and then reluctantly.
Okay, I'll help you.
You will?
Of course. I thought with your fame, it would be easy for you. I did not arrive armed with fame,
My fame is small, I think.
Dido takes this in, nodding slightly.
Okay, so rooms upstairs, and then tomorrow we'll find somewhere better.
I have no status. I mean, the smugglers put us ashore along the coast. They took all my papers.
Well, apply as soon as you can.
But then the authorities will know I'm here.
You're from Troy. Everyone knows your country was destroyed. It'll be easier for you. There's a hierarchy of asylum seekers. We all know what happened to your people.
And you're legal now?
Of course. What helps me is the 2 lives. The one before and the one after. This idea helps me.
Maybe there's more than 2.
And I think you can avoid the bugs, believe me. And listen, you don't have to say. You never have to say. But for me, it helps. It stops the rocks appearing when you don't want them there.
So, what do you think that was about?
They were just reminiscing about all these things that just happened around in the area because as we've heard from how I read my amazing reading, they're talking about how their city ultimately perished and how they wish they could go back to it essentially.
Yeah, Dido's asking Aeneas, they're from different places, and Aeneas is talking about the fall of his city. Yeah, exactly that. And they're both refugees from different places that have come to this bar to try and find a home, basically. What did you think?
I mean, as Gabriel said, it's more about remembering about what happened than kind of remembering they were talking about, they were remembering about what happened, and they were talking about where they ran away, right? Yeah.
I think, so they both lost people. Obviously, they had to leave their homes, and they both lost people. Aeneas is talking about how he had to leave. He lost his wife.
Yeah.
How do you think loss impacts somebody?
Well, if I'm honest, it could actually leave some people scarred for life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but to be honest, people need to lose to win because you can't always be winning all the time.
That's a good one.
True. Loss can also cause people to have vague memories or PTSD. So, say for example, you could have lost someone in a completely different country, and it makes you feel like it's your fault. So you start to blame yourself, and then you start getting anxiety and depression not because you missed the person, but your anxiety increases because you're so concerned that is it my fault that they had to leave? Is it my fault that I have to go somewhere else because of they've done X, Y, and Z? And then there's, like Gabriel said, sometimes you lose people to move forward, which is true, because no matter where you go in life, you lose a lot of friends and you make more friends. So it's a bit like that, pretty much.
And as much as it hurts, you still have to pull through somehow.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. It does make you a better person in general.
A more resilient person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, man.
We got there as a team. We got there.
It's basically it makes you learn from your mistakes, kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only for some people, not for everyone, but
Is that how you feel about us, basically?
Yeah.
Do you see any of that, basically, trauma bringing you closer to somebody?
Yeah, of course. It does bring you closer.
I mean, 2 people actually going through the same thing does bring you closer, since you're basically oh, I'm going through the same thing as that person. If I want to get out of this thing, I'm going to need that person's help, and the other person's going to think the same thing. I don't know how to place it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Let's just pretend that you've had to leave home, that you're a refugee and you've come to the spa. All of you are musicians, right? What do you think you'd miss most from home?
My grandparents, my family, and everything like that. Just you can't stop thinking about them,
Yeah.
especially that I grew with my grandparents.
Is there anything particularly like do with them, or any food you associate with them, or?
Oh yes, food. I remember I was like younger. I think I was like 7 or 8. My grandma made this one. Forgot what the dish was called, and it's this massive pot with like cabbage rolls in them. I ate the whole thing. And she'd be like, Andre, you little. Like, we would hate each other, like that kind of thing, like the hate-love thing.
Love and hate relationship.
Love and hate relationship, you know what I mean? Like, we would sometimes cuss each other out, like there's no tomorrow. And the next hour, we would literally just be so nice to each other. I'd be like, oh, Grandma, do you want me to help you with this? She'd be like, yes, please.
Yeah, it's like this play is like a love and hate relationship that I'm feeling. Like, Dido isn't sure about this person, so the only way she feels that she can comfort them is just lying, which can also lead into like hate as well, because if you lie to someone, they're going to start hating you. And some people, they feel like lying to someone kind of like attracts.
So how do you think like someone's actions affect the fate of others? So like in this, we've got, remember from last time, we had the 2 gods, the sisters, basically playing the puppet master over everyone else's lives. Can you think of any examples of like someone, basically like people that have like control over your life, or like things that you've done that have like affected other people?
I've had like so many bad friends during like growing up. Like I've had so many, like I used to always be that type of girl that I'd be like, I'm a tomboy, and like I would want to fit in with other girls because I'm like, oh, they're girly, they're getting boyfriends and stuff. Like I want to be like them, and I always try and fit in. And then when I came out to them, they were like, oh, that's disgusting, this and that. And then that's when I knew like, oh, I picked a bad bunch of people that I was hanging around with. And it's just like throughout life, you got to be careful who you talk to because you don't know what they're about. So it's like, my mom always told me, before you meet someone and you become true friends, sit back and observe them. Like observe like what they're like around their friends, like what they like around them, like by themselves with you. And there you can evaluate whether like they're a good friend or